Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
In this thread, the scariest thing that has ever happened to you. Be me. Be back when I was 15 years old, with two other friends, one 14 and one also 15. We were walking around his neighborhood because of boredom. Around 9 p.m., walk into a public park and just sit down on some swings near the entrance and talk. After a good 2 minutes of that, these two beat-up cars pull up into the park. Now keep in mind, this was way after dark and public parks in his neighborhood close at sundown. So, seeing as that was sketchy, we got up off the swings and walked in the opposite direction, deeper into the park and towards a lake near the baseball field. Here the people get out of the cars and slam the doors shut. We thought it might be a drug deal or something else we wouldn't want to have witnessed, so we start kind of jogging away. Hear "Get back here" from behind us. Turbo nope out of there. Seconds later, we hear a 9mm popping off behind us. At this point, we were all booking it through the baseball field. Friend says he heard something whiz by his head as shots are popping off behind us. My chest feels like it's going to explode from so much running. Running towards a fence at the end of a massive open soccer field when we hear one of the cars peel out and start driving to us. Sprint even more. Car turns from the main road it had just gotten on into a little path going next to the soccer field. They were chasing us. In a car. Run like a tweaker who just took his body weight in PCP towards the fence. Didn't jump the fence because it was super tall. Drop down in a dark spot near the fence. Lay there for an hour while the cars drive around in the park and flashlights move around in the distance. They go away. We walk half a mile back to his house. I seriously thought my life was gonna end that night. So what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? /X/.
B19. 5 people in a car. My girlfriend and I, my best friend and her boyfriend, and a third-wheel male friend, going to a park party with about 20 to 30 people, in an area with which we are unfamiliar. Get lost. Think we found the place finally. Park the car in the car park, it is the only car there. We can see a congregation of around 15 people in the dark casting shadows through a bonfire. Assume it is our group. So get out of the car and start walking down this massive hill to the group. It is really dark, but my friend's boyfriend thinks he recognizes someone and yells out a greeting to them. The whole group of people look towards us in pretty much unison and start walking towards us. We stop and still cannot really make out individual people. It is only when they are like 20 feet from us that we finally realize A, it is not our group, and B, it is a group of like 15, 25 to 30-year-old men. I say, "Oh, sorry guys, thought you were someone else." Well, you screwed up then, didn't you? At least 2 of them, maybe more, pull out knives. We all back the fuck off immediately, but they are pretty quick to react, so I just yell at the girls to run. 2 guys start chasing them, but the girls were track runners, so they turned and started running to the car really quick. The 3 of us just have our hands up like, "Please do not kill me." They group around us. The girls have arrived at the car, but 2 guys are about halfway there chasing them. My best friend's boyfriend lets out this defeated howl and his eyes well up. All this saliva comes out of his mouth. I am like, what the fuck, until I realize he has got the car keys in his pocket. Hear the girls trying to force the car doors open, then scream something at each other, followed by the smashing of glass and the car alarm starts going off. Another scream, and then they run off towards the main road. The 2 guys have stopped chasing them and are at the car now. My friend just gets dropped by an elbow in one hit. They come at me, I am in no way a fighter at all. I swing a punch at this guy, he sees it coming and fucking headbutts my fist. I immediately know my wrist is broken. They all just close in around us and kick the absolute shit out of us. My friend is stabbed 4 times in the chest and belly. The boyfriend is stabbed once in the belly and once through the cheek. I get a deep cut, but no actual stab wound on my shoulder, where the guy swished the blade at me and it cut through my jacket and t-shirt and still cut me deep. I cannot even list all the injuries we sustained, but we got fucking messed up. They finally stop hitting us and all jog over to the car. They have taken the keys and used them to cancel the alarm. We hear the engine go on, all this laughter and chanting like egging themselves on. I look up and see like 8 of them pushing the car up over the curb, to the edge of the hill at the bottom of which we lie, barely able to move. The car starts rolling down the hill straight towards us. It is either move or possibly die on impact. My friend is in the worst shape, but me and the boyfriend manage to crawl over and drag all of us out of the path of the car. The car cruises by so quickly and smashes into this picnic table about 40 feet from us, totally uprooting it from the concrete. The men just leave after that and we can still hear them laughing for a few minutes. We just lie there. I vomit and pass out. Wake up with ambulance people fussing over all of us. That relief. My friend's boyfriend and I spent 3 days in hospital. The other friend had to be revived 3 times in the ambulance and then spent 3.5 weeks in hospital. He's never been the same, and we don't see each other anymore. He has all these problems with depression and anxiety now, the poor bastard. Easily the worst night of my life.
I have a sister who is super paranoid, totally believes in ghosts and shit, and is always waking me up to check for murderers in the house whenever she hears the smallest sound. She tells me that she saw this car around our house that keeps coming back. Weird, but whatever. She is probably making something out of nothing. It is around midnight. Everyone is home. Clearly hear the front door open. Maybe Dad went out for something, I do not know. 20 minutes pass. The door does not open again. Maybe sister snuck out to a party or something. Dogs start barking downstairs. Grab the heaviest object I have in my room, a big wooden didgeridoo, and head downstairs to investigate. My sister is standing completely still in the kitchen, staring at the window. Bridget, are you okay? No reply. Bridget. No reply. I listen closely. Hear that she is very quietly sobbing. I am freaked out. Look in the direction she was looking out the window. A car is driving away from our street. My sister had no idea what I was talking about the next day. I have no fucking semblance of an idea of what happened.
Okay, so this happened this year, about a month ago. My friend and I went camping. Spend the whole day fishing, cooking food and shit. All is well, getting darker out. Set up a shelter, did not have a tent, but we tied a tarp above us to act as a roof. Finally settle into our sleeping bags, in our shelter. Talking about some random shit and lying next to the fire. Heard a noise that was so loud that I nearly shit myself. A huge cracking and then a ground-shaken thud. A tree fell, probably 30 meters from our shelter. That was close. Realize that there is no wind or anything to push over the tree, so we go and investigate. This tree was clearly rooted before and was not rotten or weakened, so this was moved by something heavy or strong. So we talked for a few more hours and went to bed. After a few hours of sleep, I am awakened by what sounds like sticks breaking near me. Lie there a minute and listen hard. Shit. There it is again. Footsteps and sticks breaking. Footsteps are one after another, as if done by 2 feet, not 4. This is not an animal. Grab my flashlight, wake my friend, and look around from our shelter. Hello? No reply. Footsteps stop. Is anyone there? Footsteps start up, getting closer. Answer us. I have mace and will mace you if I do not get a reply. Still no reply. Ring my bear bell. Shout angrily at whatever it is, all while having a can of mace ready. Still no fucking reply. So after maybe 30 minutes of this shit, I get pissed. I get up, into clothes, and walk out towards the sound, just to get a view of what this is. Just as I approach an area where I think the sound is coming from, another tree falls, 10 meters from me. After that, I ran back to my sleeping bag, and my friend and I built up our fire to try to scare away whatever it was. Needless to say, at the first light of morning, we noped out of there. Told the story when we got home, to friends and family. No one believes us. I still have no idea what the hell it was.
Does it have to be paranormal? Emigrate to the USA, living in Florida. Foreigner with no English skills. A lot of South Americans, Caribbean islanders there. No friends. End up getting a dog from a stray kill pound. Hang out with my dog all day. Walking her near a lake. Walking near the shore. Straw covering everything. Walk up to a monstrous scaly mouth pointing upright. Look like a crocodile snout coming out of the ground. Stand there dumbfounded. Wonder how it got trapped in the ground. Take a step towards it. My foot literally sinks. The straw, which had been undisturbed, was just sitting on top of water in such a dense clump, I thought it was ground. This thing starts thrashing around. My dog is running the other way, leash attached to my wrist. Dog drags me out of the water, towards a natural boat ramp before I get to my feet and continue running and crying until I get home. Never go there again. Later, some people's pets went missing from the area. It was a popular lake that had 3 tributaries. Finally, some kid goes missing and they search the lake, find a large croc had settled there. They capture it, kill it, but find no kid. The little kid was found later hiding at his friend's house. Scariest shit I've ever experienced was tapping before taking solid steps for months after that in unfamiliar places.
Okay, this one happened a month or so ago, but needs some background explanation. I grew up in a suburb just outside of Boston. Around the corner from me, there is this weird house. First passed by it on a walk with my mom when I was really little. There is caution tape blocking off the driveway. I ask my mom what it is. She says they are probably repaving the driveway. The caution tape never gets taken down. In my 19 years of living there, I never see anyone enter or leave the house, even though I walk by it almost every day. The lawn is always perfectly trimmed and free of leaves in the fall, even though there are plenty of trees in their yard. Every Halloween, whoever lives in there shuts off all their lights and completely covers their front door with caution tape. Once I am a teenager, I wind up walking by the house fairly late at night a lot when I am coming home from people's houses. They have their lights on late at night. All the lights have a bluish tinge, like those halogen headlights. Their windows all appear to be covered with quilt batting or something, so you cannot really see anything inside besides silhouettes against the window. Sometimes I see silhouettes of 2 figures pacing back and forth by one of the windows. Fast forward to about a month ago. Visiting family in Massachusetts. Take dog out for a late night walk by the weird house. I decided I want to investigate since the curiosity's been bugging me my whole life. There's this small, woodsy patch uphill and behind the house. Sneak through the yard of the house next to the weird house and creep up into the woodsy area and hide in the bushes. There's this huge window on the back of the house, and the lights are on. It seems like it looks into some sort of living room or something, but I can't really tell, because it's covered in the same quilt batting the rest of the windows are. These loud banging noises start coming from within the house. It sounds like a bunch of people are running around and banging on the walls or something. The dog starts to get really spooked, which is really unusual for her, since she's the most mellow animal you'll ever meet. Starts growling and staring at the house. She barks. The noises in the house suddenly stop. About 6 or 7 figures come up to the window, all standing in a line. One of them starts swaying back and forth, and a couple of the others start to flail their arms in this really insane-looking way. Freak, pick up my dog and run faster than I've ever run before back to my house. Go out of the way to avoid the house for the rest of my visit.
This isn't too spooky, but whatever. It was scary. B-17 driving with Dad in the Outback, wet season in Northern Territory. Get stuck in a river. About 40 degrees Celsius and humid. No food but a heap of water. Cattle station 10 kilometers away, another 30 kilometers north, and a roadhouse 40 kilometers south. Walk to the station 10 kilometers away. No one there. Station in ruins. Wait out until the sun goes down and walk to other station 30 kilometers away. Cross a heap of rivers and floodwaters, shitting ourselves because of saltwater crocs. Get to the station around 4 a.m. Look around, knock on the station house door. No one there, left for the wet season. Now 70 kilometers from the roadhouse, about a dozen bottles of water are left. But they're hot and disgusting to drink. Be overwhelmed with the realization that I will very likely die of starvation, thirst, or exhaustion. Begin the trek to the roadhouse. Sometime in the late morning, early afternoon, pass our car again. Leave a note saying where we're going and what time, etc. Walk for another few hours and stop. Decide to wait the sun out. Realize that we'll just be waiting to die because we have fuck all water left. About 10 bottles at this point. Tell Dad we have to keep going, he argues, saying it's stupid to go. Eventually convince him to. He gets up but collapses immediately. Tells me he can't go any further. I look at the map, judge that we're still at least 20 to 25 kilometers from the roadhouse. Leave half the water with Dad and start walking. Fully expect that that will be the last time either of us will see each other alive. Walk for at least another 2 hours, spot a huge tree and lie under it. Ants and bugs and shit biting me, but I don't give a shit. Accepted my fate by this point. Considering just walking back to Dad so at least I can die with him. Stop drinking water because I don't want to prolong the inevitable. Lie like this for I don't know how long. Every time the wind blows, it sounds like a car coming down the road. Still just lying under this tree. Hear wind blow. Not actually wind. Actually, a car. Group of Aborigines pull up next to me. Dad is in the back, still alive. They drive us back to the roadhouse. Was only 10 kilometers away, so I'd made a good effort. They buy us lunch, and later that day, they tow our car out for us. Car is fucked, so they drive us back to the highway so we can get our way to Alice Springs and get a plane back. So yeah, not spooky, but it was scary.
Be first semester of college. Be a week before finals. Me and my 2 best friends go to smoke at the lake behind our residence hall, sitting by the lake talking about tinfoil hat conspiracies. Hear a loud bang coming from the direction of the residence hall. Sit in complete silence for a second. Nothing happens. Go back to talking about conspiracies. Hear 3 consecutive bangs evenly spaced between one another. Start slowly walking up the hill towards the parking deck so as to not draw attention. 3 more bangs, same as before. Book it up the hill, climb all the way to the top floor of the parking deck and sit on the floor next to a wall. We are going to die. Shots going off like we are in the middle of a war zone. Hear loud sirens. Check the school security webpage because they have a security system that lets you know when shit is going down on campus. Riot, school shooting, robbery, etc. Danger level at green. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Ninja our way back to the dorm. Nothing unusual here. JPG. Across the street there are fire trucks, an ambulance, and a couple cop cars. Someone's house went up in flames and the residents just so happened to have fireworks in their house. I thought that someone on campus had snapped from all the stress. Not spooky, but still terrifying.
Be from New York City, visiting San Francisco. Go to Alcatraz. During tour, they let us enter cells. I randomly choose 14D, sit in cell alone for 30 minutes and take pictures. Absolutely nothing happens. Overall cheerful vibe in prison. Fast forward to that evening. Be relaxing at night in a hotel. Go to sleep after watching TV. For some reason, all the lights went out on the building across the street, so it's ultra dark. Pass out and have the most severe and fucked up lucid dream I've ever had. Being brutally beaten and strangled by a shortish dude with shaved head and black eyes. He's naked, and we're in a pitch-black void. No story to dream, just experience wrath for what feels like hours. Dude is literally mauling me to death with his bare hands for hours on end. Hears me screaming, but doesn't give a shit. He's fixated on annihilating me. Wake up next morning, exhausted and paranoid. I later researched that cell, and prisoners who were kept locked up in there, naked, in solitary, no lights, had wild nightmares about the exact same thing. Apparently some prisoner went nuts one night, screaming to be released because he claimed that some evil entity was going to strangle him, that it was locked in the cell with him. The next morning, the guards find him dead in the cell and strangled to death. It's easy to find that story plus others if you Google Alcatraz most haunted cell, etc. I swear to you that story is 100% true in all ways. This all happened last September, and I have never had a supernatural experience till then. I've never even believed in that shit till then. But I genuinely tapped into the same sick shit that fucked with prisoners in that cell about 100 years ago. I have no explanation. I knew nothing of those stories till after the experience. Still bugs the fuck out of me. I don't even feel comfortable sharing now, but would love more info on that cell. Genuinely the oddest, most distressing ghost experience I've ever had.
This is my mum's story. I was at college when this happened last year. Dad is at work. Me and my sister are at school an hour away. Only ones home are my 17-year-old sister, my mum, the cat, and the new dog. 3 a.m., my mum is sleeping in her room with our new puppy. Bedroom door is open so the animals can go in and out. She hears a rumbling sound from out in the living room, quickly realizes it is the basement door shaking. At first, she thinks it is the cat wanting to go downstairs. It literally jumps and paws at the doorknob when it wants to go play in the basement. The cat is asleep at the foot of the bed. My mum is immediately creeped out as the door continues to shake. Just as she decides to go investigate, before she can even move, the new puppy wakes up and starts barking, sounding really distressed. The door stops shaking immediately, followed by silence. To this day, my mum swears that after sitting there in the darkness for a few minutes, she heard someone go, shh, right outside of her window, which was open with a screen in on the first floor, followed by what sounded like a little girl giggling. My mum panics and goes to wake up my sister, turns on every light in the house, and makes sure all the doors are locked. Says the basement door that led outside was locked. I don't know what it was, but we've all experienced weird things in that house. It's relatively new, but it was built literally right on top of where another old house used to be. Same guy from before, 2 years ago, before the shh incident. Mom and sisters complaining of creepy shit happening at the house. Shadow people sightings, animals acting weird, etc. I had a few experiences, but that's another story. Cousin takes it upon herself to hold a seance in our house one night, in an attempt to cleanse the house. Lame-ass Saturday night, nothing going on. Why not? Gather around the dining room table, turn off all lights, light some white candles. Her and I are all serious business about this. Mom and sisters are laughing and joking around, rustling my jimmies. Annoyed because they're all acting stupid and nothing is happening. Lame. Suddenly, see what looks like an orange orb of light go past the doorway to the kitchen right in front of me. We live out in the country, so it couldn't have been a passing car. We would have heard it coming a mile away. Cousin, who had been taking pics with her digital camera during the whole thing, takes a single picture of the area where I saw the orb. Camera immediately malfunctions, shuts off by itself even though it was supposedly fully charged. Turn on the lights, cousin is all pissy about her camera. Corrupt memory card, or something to that effect. It won't come out of the camera. It somehow become lodged into the camera. Cousin works on it for about an hour, finally gets the memory card to pop out as it's supposed to, and puts it in her laptop. It's blank. I mean, it could have totally been a big coincidence. My cousin was really mad about the memory card getting erased though. She had a lot of photos on it that hadn't been saved or printed out. We didn't experience anything weird again until my mum heard the basement door shaking a year later.
All right, here's mine. It's just a night of nightmares, but shit was the worst night of my life. As a note, this was just after watching Blair Witch for the first time, and also I have an irrational fear of the girl from The Grudge. In room, lights off, just turned off the TV for the night. I usually just sit there for a while, staring up at the ceiling before going to bed. My eyes adjust to the dark. I can finally see all of my room except the far corner. It is a small room, so I should be able to see it. It is just a huge shadow that only takes up that one corner. As I stare at it, it slowly begins to get bigger. My vision begins to act up, and these yellow orbs start appearing. I put my hand in front of my face to make sure it is just my vision, and that I am not going crazy with orbs flying in my room. It is just my vision being weird, but that shadow is still moving towards me. I get a really bad feeling that something is in the shadow. After about 10 minutes of just staring at it, too scared to move, it is resting right beside my bed. The orbs are really starting to impair my vision now. I can barely see because of them, but I'm trying to focus on the shadow. It just keeps getting worse, and I feel like something is going to be on top of me soon. Cannot take any more, I grab the remote and turn on the TV. A bright flash of light and everything is absolved. Fucking hell, that was horrible. Oh well, back to bed. Nightmares all night, waking up every 15 to 30 minutes. I can only remember 2 of the nightmares, so I will share them quickly. I'm in my kitchen and my mom is fixing some cereal for herself. I look at her and realize something is not right. She begins to morph into this creepy alien. Imagine Admiral Akbar, but if it were designed to be uncomfortable to look at. Been through a lot of nightmares so far. I realize this is one of them. We are just staring at each other, thinking of a way I can wake myself up. Maybe if I scream loud enough in my dream, I will scream in real life and wake myself up. I begin to scream. It screams back. An unearthly scream that paralyzed me with fear. Oh shit, this was a bad idea. Oh God, wake up. So many nightmares. But I gotta go back to sleep, staring at the ceiling, not ready to go back to sleep yet. Suddenly notice something under my covers. The girl from The Grudge is staring at me just under my covers. I am flipping shit in my head, try to move but cannot. She begins to make that noise with her throat while moving closer to me. The way she moves is unsettling, as if she is forcefully dragging herself up to my face. We are eye to eye now. I am frantically trying to move. I begin to tear up. She begins to get louder, opening her mouth up more. Oh God, I am dead. I try my hardest to move my arm and hit her. Arm flies up into the air. It lands on me and ends up waking me up. I could not sleep the rest of the night. So yeah, that was horrible for me. Don't know what that first part was other than my imagination acting up. Wasn't asleep then for it to be a nightmare.
B15. Neighbors have gone on holiday, and I need to feed their birds. They have a big carport full of all this junk that you have to walk through to get to their backyard. I noticed this massive tribal mask from Fiji, or something sitting on this shelf. Feed 25 aviaries of birds. Go home. Have dinner. It is about 9 p.m., pitch black outside. Realize I did not shut the garage door, so my neighbor's property is just open to the public. Quickly go outside and walk across to their house. I am at the end of their driveway and I can see the door is indeed open, but the inside of the carport is just pitch black. I can see 2 pinpricks of glistening light pretty close together side by side. What little light is cast from the streetlight seems to slightly change in the way it glistens like reflective glass. I nope a little bit, keep getting closer. Suddenly get this realization, you dumbass, it is the fucking eyes on the mask. Lose all fear, can even vaguely see the outline of the mask now. Walk more quickly forward until I'm almost at the doorway. Hear this stuttered, hissing sound that suddenly gets really loud as I take another step closer. Stop immediately. The 2 glistening circles move around to the side like something behind the mask leaning its head out to look at me. Noped so hard I let out a little anxiety fart, tried to scream but only whimpered and then turned and ran home. Get Hero Dad. Hero Dad comes with a 12 gauge and gets me to spotlight for him with a dolphin torch. Eyes are still there. See, Dad, see, it is real. Shine torch on it, loud clanging, mask falls over, all this shit goes flying off the table. I scream like a girl, drop torch and grab Dad's trigger arm like a fucking idiot. Dad yells at me for not respecting the firearm. He picks up torch and shines it inside just in time to see a massive possum scamper away. Bird aviaries attract rats and possums. I literally shit my pants.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.